Hello and good evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll most likely have him back with us tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. But week 5 of college football season is here, and according to my notes here, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14. We got 16. We have 16 games on the docket, including a very rare Friday night game. Yes, we have a Friday night game that we will get into, and we're going to lead off with that. So without any further ado, let's dive right on in, and we're going to start it off with that Friday night game that will go down tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern over on ESPN2. And it will feature the number 22 BYU Cougars at home once again at the Lavelle Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah. And they will be hosting Louisiana Tech. And according to the spread, BYU, sizable favorite here. They are a 24.5-point favorite, which doesn't surprise me at all. So with that being said, on the call for that one, by the way, will be Dave Fleming and Andre Ware. Unfortunately, I have a limited announcer sheet, so if that crew has a sideline reporter, I don't know who it is, but that's all I can give you. I do know the sideline reporter from most of the crews, but not for this one. So Dave Fleming, Andre Ware, that's all I can give you for that one. So but anyways, let's get right into it. Louisiana Tech squaring off against BYU, and here we are. There's really nothing more to say on this. I mean, it's got to be BYU. I mean, BYU has been absolutely on fire this year. I mean, their body of work has just been insane, especially after what they did on Labor Day against the Navy, and then another impressive win. So I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to say BYU, and I'm going to say BYU wins big. So I'm not going to get any more into this. MF, take it first. I'll try to find my good set of notes there.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. I totally agree with it. BYU's been one of the top teams right now in the country. They've been playing really good lately, and so far so good in this early season. So BYU's coming out. Louisiana is also gonna get an opportunity here, but I don't think they're gonna be able to run or hang with BYU. Anthony, you're absolutely right. BYU wins this game in a laugher. I hope I gave you enough time. If I need to give you extra time, then I'll do that. But hopefully you'll got all your uh, stats and whatever you need to get on your side to get ready. So I'm gonna be tossing it right back to you right now.
Okay. They usually have a great. The notes that I usually have, they're usually right there. I don't understand why I don't have them this time around. I don't get it. But
Maybe that's the website. That might not be you. It's that the websites because you got to think about it this way. Right now, a lot of the crews is playing very limited. So because of
this is true.
the huh?
This is true. This is true.
So I don't think you're gonna get all the crews this time around because they're gonna want
No.
to limit the number of people that they can use on all the rosters on all the networks because of this stupid COVID. So I mean, you got to think about it that way too. Plus, a lot of them might be doing dual thing with the MLB playoffs, with the NBA playoffs. So there might be some guys that normally works other projects.
This is true. All right. So while we I can definitely set you up for the next game. You started off anyway, MF, so that's good. So it buys me a little more time. Um, high noon action. We're going to get into the Saturday slate of games. And by the way, I do have a small little thing I can use here. BYU 2-0 against the spread, put up 51.5 points a game in those games. Louisiana Tech averages 47.5 points a game, but has a porous defense that'll be exposed down the road. Bulldogs are 6-3 against the spread as a road underdog since 2018. So nothing more to say here. I have BYU winning 45-24. That's what I'm going to go with. So 45-24 in favor of BYU. So with that being said, let's move on now to the Saturday slate of action, and we will get into our first of the high noon games. I believe we have 4 of them here. So yeah, it's 4. So and we're going to start it off with the now number 3 team in the land, the Florida Gators. Their home opener at of course the legendary Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, Florida. This will be over on ESPN, and they're going to be hosting the Gamecocks of South Carolina. And on that call will be Mark Jones, Dusty Dvoracek, and Quint Kesenich. They will have that call. I know that crew. So Florida opening up as an 18.5-point favorite. So MF, Oklahoma got upset last week. They took a big hit. And what a jump for Florida all the way up to 3. Wow.
But that's the benefit of the crazy and turbulent world of college football, especially in 2020. One loss could be a fatal blow, not only to your playoff chances, but to any type of semblance this year. So Oklahoma takes the dive. Florida is the beneficiary. And plus, on top of that, you don't even got the Big Ten or the Pac-12 coming in yet. So that's also another thing that benefits Florida here. If it would have been probably a couple of, if it would have been, if a Pac-12 or a Big Ten team, they would have instantly jumped up. But unfortunately, they're not playing yet. So Florida beneficiary gets the jump, gets a major jump, goes into top 3, and now they can say, we got a legit shot at the college football playoff. Because when you're in the top 4 spots, especially in the coaches poll, that's one little thing of the formula that you got to do. Strength of schedule, everything. There's like 5 factors to get into the college football playoff. Florida right now has put themselves in a prime position to get in because of their ranking, their conference, because of who they play, and like I said, there's a whole bunch of factors. There's a computer thing into this. So, yes, it's humans, people deciding who deserves to be in it. But remember, this is a little different. And unfortunately for us, this year, they've decided not to expand the tournament. We're only getting 4 to get in. So I know that's a travesty. What do you mean 4? That's absolute BS in my mind, but you know what? Hey, money talks at the end of the day, and it's ESPN that has the rights to the college football playoff. So if the Mouse House is saying 4, we're getting 4, by God. So Florida's going to win this game. I really got nothing more to add. I think they're just going to steamroll, and they're just going to they're going to prove to the people why they deserve to be in the top 4. Florio, it's yours.
Absolutely. I mean, you said it. I mean, MF said everything that needed to be said. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I had something on my mind. About the playoff. You mentioned about the playoff there, MF, and news came out. The first rankings will not be out until November 24th. November 24th. That is the that's it. So that's all there is to say on that.
Tonight, I'll be eating chicken.
I do apologize for that. A pop-up video has come up. What else is going to happen here? So anyways, I'll give it to Florida. I mean, Florida has a legitimate Heisman candidate in Kyle Trask, and it's easy to picture the Gators rolling the Gamecocks in the swamp. Will Muschamp is 1-3 against his former team. but the average margin of defense in the 3 losses is fewer than 10 points. I got Florida winning. My final score, it's going to be 41-24. So there's really nothing more to say on that one. So let's move on to our next matchup here, and I'll take the first spin first, and we are gonna get into the now number 9 team in the land, the Texas Longhorns, and they're going to be hosting the Horned Frogs of TCU. This will be at Darrell K. Royal Memorial Stadium, well, Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium in Austin, Texas. And it's the Fox game of the week, so you know who's working this one. I don't need a sheet for this one. You know who's going to be there. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, the All-American girl, Jenny Taft, and Texas opening up as a 12-point favorite. So there's really not much to say on this one except, all right, I got it here. The Horned Frogs lost a 37-34 shootout at Iowa State and had trouble running the football in their opener. That said, TCU has won 5 of the past 6 against Texas, but the Texas Longhorns win at home, but it's typical Big 12 football. So I got Texas winning this one. My final score, 38-28. Texas knocks off TCU at home. Hook 'em horns. So not much more to say. I mean, MF last week, Oklahoma lost, LSU lost. We almost had Texas go down. They were down 15. They were down 15 late in the fourth quarter, but somehow, some way, managed to pull one out of the hat there, and they beat Texas Tech 63-56 in sudden death overtime.
Texas, don't you ever scare me like that again. I said that you were going to win your game handily. That's not winning your game handily, you idiots. I mean, you scared the living daylights out of me on that one, and boy, did I get it from a few of my boys. Not Anthony, not Michael Bullock, but a couple of the Discord guys. They got a wind of my show, and they're like, "Oh, what about Texas, man? You said they were gonna hook them and this and that." I was like, "Shut up, guys! I don't want to hear it." So it almost turned into a complete and utter disaster, but Texas did manage to get the big win. That was a big outcome, and now they got to go up against TCU, which, yeah, you said it. They fell to Iowa State. Iowa State, was it, Anthony? Or was it another?
Who?
Who beat TCU?
I believe it was Iowa State, yes.
Iowa State. Okay, so I was right. Iowa State, they did beat them last week and everything else. And obviously both teams, first off, Texas is breathing a sigh of relief because they almost became a footnote in this crazy college football year. And then for TCU, you just got your hearts broken. But, you know, like you said, last year they did beat Texas, and they've owned them lately. 5 out of the last 6, they beat them down. So, I mean, like you said, this is going to be another Big 12 shootout. This is going to be another high-scoring affair. But I think Texas is resilient. I think they're game-tested. And I think this time around, they know what's at stake. This is kind of an inner... I don't want to say it is a territorial battle when you're talking about Texas and TCU. So, I mean, this is the Battle of this is one of the Battle of Texas. There's 4 of them. There's that. There's A&M. There's Texas Tech. So, I mean, you gotta win the quad. This is what I call it, the quad war. So you gotta win these quad wars. So Texas, I think, will try to win this one, and I think they will win it. But like you said, this will be a lot of drama in this game. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours. I got Texas as well.
All right, let's move on to our next high noon game, and this will be over on the SEC Network. The number 21 Tennessee Volunteers back home at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, their home opener, and they're going to be hosting the Tigers of Missouri. And this will be over on the SEC Network with Dave Neal and DJ Shockley. and the spread favors Tennessee. Tennessee opening up as a 12-point favorite. So Tennessee barely escaped South Carolina last week. They have their home opener at Neyland Stadium against Mizzou, who got thrashed by Alabama.
Yeah, but remember what you just said. Missouri went up against Alabama. They're not Alabama. Tennessee is not Alabama. They are a dangerous team. That's not a good battle. I'll openly admit that. But at the end of the day, I will say that yeah, it's going to be the same outcome. It is going to be a lot more closer for Missouri. So Missouri, you can hang your hats on that. But at the end of the day, I do believe that it will be game over and it will be a victory for Tennessee. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, I got Tennessee winning as well. No doubt about this. Jeremy Pruitt is 1-1 against Missouri, and the Tigers pulled off an unexpected cover against the spread in Coach Eli Drinkwitz's debut against Alabama. I like the Vols to win the home opener as well, and I'm going to go with Tennessee. Close game, closer than people think. Tennessee wins 28-21. That's all I can say on that. So let's get into our final high noon game here. And it will be the number 24 Pittsburgh Panthers back at home at Heinz Field once again. And they will be hosting the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. You can find this game over on the ACC network. And the spread favors Pittsburgh, 2-touchdown favorite. They're a 14-point favorite to beat North Carolina State. And Wes Durham and Roddy Jones, they will have the call for that one. So let's get into this. The Panthers have failed to cover the past 2 weeks, but they are against the Wolfpack defense that allowed 43.5 points in its first 2 games. And that's all I can say on that. So I'm going to go with Pittsburgh to win this one. My final score is 34-24. Nothing more to say. MF, NC State, and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh at Heinz Field. And I'm telling you, I think we got a dark horse in the ACC. We got to watch out for Pittsburgh. It's not all about Clemson and Notre Dame.
No, it definitely not. And Pittsburgh was a darling last year, lying under the weeds, as we like to say. And yeah, they're starting to do that again this year. So Pittsburgh should win the game, and they should handle their business with no problems. So yeah, I got Pittsburgh winning as well, and I'll go with the 2-touchdown, 17-point margin, somewhere in that range. And yeah, so Anthony, it's yours.
Okay, and we are now going to move on to the 3:30 slate of games, and I can't think of a better way to start it off, as always, than with what is the first half of our big double main event this week, and both games in this double main event are coming out of the SEC. Oh, by the way, and this first one is the SEC on CBS, the number 2 game of the week right here, hands down. The number 2 Alabama Crimson Tide, their home opener at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. They're going to be hosting the number 13 Texas A&M Aggies. This will be over on the SEC on CBS. You know who's working that: Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jamie Erdahl, and Alabama opening up as an 18-point favorite. I mean, Texas A&M, they're no slouch. I mean, they're number 13. Bama, number 2. Texas A&M has stolen one in Tuscaloosa before when Johnny Football was running things. So
Yep.
Can they do it again? Can they do it again here 8 years later, or will it be next victim for Alabama?
Nah, it's next victim. Bama. Look, I'm not gonna take anything away from Texas A&M. The Aggies have always played Bama wicked tough, and they will. But I just don't see enough horses in this game that's gonna scare Bama. There isn't really anything that would scare this team. I think this team right now is poised for a big run. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a really good game a really good situation for Bama. So, yep, there's really nothing more to add. So, Bama wins. Florio, go.
Yeah, it's going to be Bama. No ifs, ands, or buts about this. It's definitely going to be next victim here. The Crimson Tide have won the past 6 meetings in this series by an average of 24 points a game, and Nick Saban should be able to keep his team's focus after some ugliness in mop-up duty against Missouri. Kellen Mond played well in the last meeting, but this Alabama defense is better. Bama rolls, no question about it, 40-20. That's it. So nothing more to say. Let's move on to our next 3:30 game. There's 5 of them, so we got number 2 here, and this will be over on ABC, and it will feature the number 12 North Carolina Tar Heels squaring off against the Boston College Eagles at Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill, and this one will be over on ABC, and it'll be Joe Tessitore with Greg McElroy. They will be on the call for that one, and North Carolina opening up as a 14-point favorite. BC has an up-and-coming coach in Jeff Hafley, but the Tar Heels present too many challenges on both sides of the football. Look for Sam Howell to get back on track. North Carolina wins. My final score, 34-17. So, MF, I mean, here's another dark horse in the ACC. Not just Pittsburgh, but we also got to keep an eye on North Carolina as well.
I'm sorry, Anthony. I got distracted for a moment. What's the matchup that we're covering?
Number 12, North Carolina against Boston College.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, hold up. Boston College at home against a ranked opponent like North Carolina in Beacon Hill. We all know this has a recipe for disaster for North Carolina. Let me tell you, I don't know what it is, but Boston College always has one upset a year. They can pull an upset. They've done it to too many teams in the past. Anthony knows it more than anybody else because Notre Dame fell to Boston College. Not once, but twice in their illustrious history. Florida State has got caught. I think Virginia Tech got caught one year. I know Miami, I think, got caught when both members used to be in the Big East. And I think Boston College caught Miami one year because this was like Miami was like on a down year or something like that, and Miami got caught by BC. North Carolina, you better play your games. You better be set. You better be 100% because Boston College is going to be upset-minded. I believe you guys are going to win this game. I'm going to go with UNC, but I'm going to put the alert out there right now. I would not be shocked if we get an upset coming out of Beacon Hill in Boston if Boston College knocks off UNC. I'm just putting the upset alert up, but I do got UNC winning. So, Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. Now I'm starting to find some things here. So, anyways, let's get into our next matchup here. All right, and it features the number 15 Cincinnati Bearcats once again at home at Nippert Stadium in Cincinnati. They're going to be hosting the Bulls of South Florida. This game will be over on ESPN Plus. And working that game, it will be David Saltzman and Keith Moreland, and Cincinnati opening up as a 21-point favorite. So MF, Cincinnati looking good. I mean, they proved me wrong last week. I wasn't sure if they could hang with the Army, but then again, they were at home, so that's why they were able to win. And they're at home yet again. So something about Nippert Stadium. It's working for Cincinnati, and they got another home game this time against South Florida as they open AAC play.
Yes, absolutely. Upset minded. Definitely some upset stuff could happen in this game, no doubt about it. I will say this. I'm gonna go with Cincinnati, though. I think they're gonna get the job done. But again, this is another team that's gotta stay on alert. Do not get caught in the net. South Florida is gonna really come at it, and they're gonna really bring it to them. This could be a one-score game, Anthony. I'm gonna say this could end up being in somewhere in single digits when this game is over and done with. But yeah, so we got really nothing more to say. So, Anthony, it is yours.
Hmm. Um, I don't know if it's going to be a close game. I mean, did you see what South Florida did against Notre Dame some time ago? South Florida got absolutely destroyed by Notre Dame.
Yeah, but the thing is that was Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a different animal. Cincinnati is a lot less better than Notre Dame. I disagree with that, Florio. I think it's
Okay,
going to be a lot more closer than you think.
fair enough. Fair enough. Um, I have Cincinnati winning, and here's why. The fantastic Bearcat front seven stuffed the Army running game. The Knights managed just 182 yards with nothing working quite right to take control of the game. It's going to take a balanced offense with a downfield passing game to give UC problems. And that's not UCF or USF, rather. The Bulls have no problems with short range passing game against the Citadel. The O was too busy running, but there wasn't much happening against Notre Dame when the game got out of hand. As long as Cincinnati can get on the board early, there won't be any issues. I got Cincinnati winning this one. They're not going to have any issues. The USF run defense will struggle against an offense that got stuffed a bit too much by Army, that kept the 24-10 game low. And here comes the offensive balance and an easy UC win. Cincinnati wins 38-10. That's it. So not going to go any further into that. So let's move on to our next matchup here. Another 3:30 game. The number 17 Oklahoma State Cowboys, they're going to be squaring off against the Kansas Jayhawks. This will be over on ESPN, and it'll be at David Booth Memorial Stadium in Lawrence, Kansas. And working that game will be Dave Patch with Mike Golick. And we have it is Oklahoma State opening up as a 22.5 point favorite here. So there's no doubt about it. I got Oklahoma State winning, and here's why they'll win. Don't overthink this. Start running, keep running, don't stop. It's possible starting quarterback Spencer Sanders could go on his injured ankle, but the offense figured it out with Shane Illingworth under center, have him hand it off. The Cowboys still aren't the explosive fun show they're supposed to be, but in the 27-13 win over West Virginia, they got 100-yard rushing days from Chuba Hubbard and L.D. Brown as the offense took over in the second quarter. Kansas is giving up close to 200 yards a game on the ground with 5 scores. Just assume Oklahoma State will hit the 250-yard mark and average well over 5 yards a carry. The Oklahoma State defense has been great. Tulsa has an offense, and West Virginia's attack is better than it looked in last week's loss to the Cowboys. Oklahoma State lived behind the Mountaineer line, and it'll be dominant against a Jayhawk offensive front that's allowed 9 sacks and 22 tackles for loss in 2 games. Oklahoma State rolls 40-16. Nothing more to say. Oklahoma State, MF. Oklahoma State, they got an easy one here against the Big 12's doormat.
Yeah, they do. And like you said, Chuba Hubbard, you feed him the rock, you keep doing it all game long. He's going to have a monster game. There's no doubt about it. There's really no arguments here. This is an easy call. You could even go as far to call it the lock of the week. That's how easy this one is. So, Florio, it's yours.
Well, now we move on to the game I'm going to call the sleeper game of the week here. I could easily make an argument for this to be the number 3 game of the week behind our SEC double main event. Back in the top 25, we have the Memphis Tigers, and they are going to be squaring off against the Mustangs of SMU. You know how good those guys are. And it'll be at Gerald J. Ford Stadium in Dallas, Texas. And this game will be over on ESPN2. and it'll be Anish Shroff with Tom Luganville. They will have the call for that one. And the reason why I can make an argument for number 3 game of the week is because Memphis, they've only played one game, they're 1-0. SMU is 3-0, but it's the Memphis is only favored by 1.5. It's a 1.5 spread. So MF, a huge game here in the American. Memphis only their second game, but SMU 3-0, and SMU win would easily put them back in the polls.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And I think they will get the win. Being at home, they definitely will have a tough matchup, no doubt about it. I'll openly say that. But no, I'm pretty sure SMU will get the job done, and I believe they will beat Memphis. I think they got a really good team, and I'm gonna go with them to win it. So I really got nothing more to say. Yes, give me SMU for the big upset win. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Well, I don't know if we've had any yet, but this I do believe will be. If we haven't had any tonight, it's about to be one now. It's gonna. I gotta disagree here. I mean, would I be surprised if SMU won? Absolutely not. But I'm going with Memphis, and here's why. It's been a rough run getting this season going, beating Arkansas State before getting knocked out for the last few weeks with COVID issues. The team is rested, just like it was last year. The offense is explosive. The passing game is sharp. It started out fantastic, and SMU has to be able to keep up. SMU might have the offense rolling, but the secondary was picked apart by North Texas, even though it generates a good pass rush. The defense does a whole lot of things right, but the overall production still isn't there. Now it has to deal with an offense that's going to keep the pressure on for a full 4 quarters. It was one of the best games of last year. Memphis held off SMU in a 54-48 thriller, with two teams combining for well over 1,000 yards, with close to 800 through the air. Memphis has more talent and the better lines, but SMU will be a bit more seasoned and a bit more balanced at home. The Tiger passing game, though, will come through in the second half with a few late scoring drives to get their season back on track. So with all due respect, MF, I disagree with you. I have Memphis winning this game 41-38. Memphis knocks off SMU. Should be a beauty. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a goodie. So nothing more to say. Let's move on now to the primetime slate of games. And now we're going to move on to the other half of our big double main event, the game of the week right here. 7:30 kickoff over on ESPN. The number 4 Maiden Georgia Bulldogs at home against the number 7 Auburn Tigers, Sanford Stadium, Athens, Georgia. And boy, howdy, is this going to be a beauty? That's all I can say on this. This is the one right here, hands down. Georgia opening up as a 7-point favorite, and usually we see these guys on ABC, but no, they're working the SEC Saturday night game of the week on ESPN. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit. We don't know who's going to be with them because Maria Taylor, the usual reporter, is working the NBA Finals coverage for ABC. So we'll see who they get. But anyways, it's Auburn against Georgia, so there's nothing more to say, folks, except this is the game of the week right here. And wow, Georgia has quarterback questions, and it will be interesting for JT Daniels sees his first action and a tough assignment against Auburn, which looked more consistent with Bo Nix in his sophomore season. The Tigers haven't won in Athens since 2005, but this will be close. There is absolutely no question about this. And I mean, this definitely has the makings of a 5-star Shakespearean drama classic between two really, really good teams, both with the. But at the end of the day, seeing that this game is in Athens, I got to go with the Maiden Georgia Bulldogs to win this one. Very close game, 27-23. Georgia knocks off all game of the week. Nothing more to say. MF, main event time, Auburn and Georgia.
You know what? I'm going to be real honest with you. I'm with Georgia. I think Georgia is going to win the game as well. This is going to be an incredible game. This is going to be one heck of a game. to say the very least. And yeah, I'm with you guys. This can go a number of ways, but I'm pretty sure Georgia is going to win it. So very close, very tight, down to the wire, you can even say. But I got Georgia, so nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Okay, and we're gonna move on now to our next 7:30 kickoff, and it will be the number 11 UCF. UCF number 11. They're going to be at home against the Golden Hurricane of Tulsa at the Bounce House in Orlando, Florida, and that will be over on ESPN2, and working that game will be Jason Benetti and Rod Gilmore, and UCF opening up as a big 21-point favorite. So MF UCF keeping on chugging here, and they got another cupcake here in Tulsa.
Yeah, there's really nothing more to add. I give me UCF. I think they're gonna win the game and win it pretty handily. So there's really nothing for me to add on that one, Anthony. You could just give your 2 cents on this one.
Yeah, the Golden Hurricane hung around with Oklahoma State in their opener, but UCF's offense runs a little smoother. Look for the Knights to clean up some of the mistakes they made in the second half against East Carolina. Tulsa did beat UCF last season. It could be interesting, but not enough. I got UCF winning this one. My final 43-28. So that's all I'm going to say on that. So move on to our next 7:30 game. It'll be over on SEC Plus. Back in the polls, and rightfully so after their huge win last week. The number 16 Mississippi State Bulldogs, and they're going to be hosting the Arkansas Razorbacks at Davis Wade Stadium at Scott Field, Starkville, Mississippi. And you can find this game over on the SEC Plus or the SEC Network Alternative, and it'll be Roy Philpott with Kelly Stufer. They'll be there for that one. And Mississippi State opening up as a 17-point favorite here. So, and rightfully so for Mississippi State. I mean, wow. We knew the Mike Leach experience would be fun in Starkville, but we had no idea that it would happen so fast. The Bulldogs have to handle that praise, but Arkansas will have trouble keeping up in the second half. Mississippi State rolls 45-23. So MF, Mississippi State, they went into LSU and they absolutely manhandled LSU in Tiger Stadium. Now they're opening at home. Oh, Sorrell, I feel so bad for you, darling. It's going to be another long night for you, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mississippi State's playing with the house money now after they took down the defending national champions and shocked the college football world. I don't think none of us saw that coming. But Mississippi State now goes in playing Arkansas. Arkansas didn't look so hot at the beginning. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think there's gonna be much to this one. Mississippi State wins it in a laugher. Florio, go.
All right, and speaking of teams that went down, we talked about LSU going down. Well, we got to get to the other team that went down. The now number 18 Oklahoma Sooners dropping 15 spots all the way down from number 3 by virtue of their embarrassing loss at home to Kansas State last week. And it doesn't get any easier because now they got to go to Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa to take on the Cyclones of Iowa State. And on top of that, it's the ABC Saturday night game of the week, but it's not with Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. They're doing the big SEC games. So working that one, it's going to be Sean McDonough with Todd Blackledge, Todd McShay. I believe Allison Williams should be there as well. And Oklahoma opening up as a 7-point favorite. And MF, I mean, Oklahoma. I mean, you an embarrassing home loss to Kansas State. And now, if that wasn't bad enough, now you got to go to Iowa State and you could get upset again.
That's the real thing. That's why when I saw that spread of 7, I kind of thought, I'm like, Is it really 7? Is it worthy of a 7-point favorite? Even though I think Oklahoma will win, I think this is a dangerous game. This is a dangerous one to say the very least. This could go either way, but I'm gonna say I got Oklahoma winning, but it's gonna be close. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
I agree. Um, Oklahoma will win, and here's why. Even though they lost, Oklahoma really was good against Kansas State, but now it has to clean things up. Spencer Rattler in the passing game was terrific. The run defense held the Wildcats to just 66 yards, and the team gained 117 more yards. But being -4 in turnover margin was a killer, along with the 10 penalties. Tighten things up, and everything changes. OU collapsed. They were up 35-14 before it all fell apart. But that's part of the deal in this weird year. It was a straight-up gack by the Sooners. It's good enough to get it all back in a hurry and get even sharper as Rattler gets more time in the system. It's been 3 years since the Cyclones pulled off the shocker against the Sooners, and they're going to press hard at home. Rattler might be brilliant, and he might have the upside to be the next great Oklahoma quarterback, but he's got to prove he can shake off a bad fourth quarter against Kansas State, and he has to process things faster. That's just a function of inexperience. Iowa State got hit for 400 passing yards by TCU and survived. It'll get hit by a huge day from Rattler and won't be able to come through in the fourth quarter like Kansas State did. I got Oklahoma winning, close game, 41-31. Oklahoma escapes Ames, Iowa with a win. So there's really nothing more to say. We got a couple games left here. 7:30 over on the SEC network. And it's the other team who got the other case of the upset bug. And here comes a team that took another big hit. Your reigning, defending college football playoff national champion LSU Tigers dropping 14 spots from 6 all the way down to 20. They're number 20 now. But on the bright side, against the proverbial doormat of the SEC, the Vanderbilt Commodores, at Vanderbilt Stadium in Nashville. And this will be over on the main AC network. And Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kubelik will be on the call for that one. And we have LSU rather opening up as a 21-point favorite here. So there is absolutely no doubt about this one. I mean, we know LSU is hopping mad, and the Tigers lost their opener, and there is a risk for a first-half hangover against Vanderbilt. That said, LSU still has enough talent to overwhelm the Commodores in the first half. Expect the defense to play with an edge if All-American cornerback Derek Stingley Jr. returns. LSU is hopping mad, and I think LSU will take it out on Vandy, kick the door down, make themselves at home at Vandy. LSU, I got them rolling 38-10. Nothing more to say. I mean, you can't think of a better time for LSU to have the doormat of the SEC in Vandy after that humiliating loss to Mississippi State last week.
And the other thing is that if you're Vanderbilt, you're yelling at the schedule gods right now. Why now? Why this soon? Can't we get them a little bit later on in the season? Why do we got to face them after they got KO'd last week? So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a bloodbath. It ain't gonna be pretty. There's really nothing more to add. You're right, Anthony. LSU is gonna win, and they're gonna win big. So one more game to go. Let's get it out of the way.
And it features the number 1 team in all the land, the number 1 Clemson Tigers at home at Memorial Stadium on the ACC network, 8 o'clock kickoff from the Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina. And they're going to be hosting the Cowboys of Virginia. And Clemson, huge favorite. Mm-hmm. They are opening up as 29-point favorites. Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselbeck, I believe Katie George works with them, so that's where who will be on the call for that one at Clemson. So nothing more to say. Clemson at home against Virginia. Open, they're 29-point favorites. I think we all know how this goes.
Yeah, Clemson all the way. But I do believe Clemson's got a big game coming up in a week or two. I think it's against Miami. I could be wrong, but
I will look into that while you go on.
But I will say this: Clemson is going to look pretty strong. They're going to dominate early and often. Trevor Lawrence, look, anybody who had any doubt about Trevor Lawrence and everything else, you can stop right there. Trevor Lawrence will look great. Travis Etienne will look amazing. They're just a two-headed monster right now for Clemson, and Dabo will not let them sleep behind the wheel. He's going to motivate his boys enough that he can get the job done. I know for a fact everybody's like, oh, this is an easy victory. This is an easy victory. Yeah, well, Dabo will not think of it that way. Dabo will think that Virginia is a strong team, Virginia is a dangerous team, and do not sleep on them. Even though for us, we're going to say easily that this is going to be an easy victory for Clemson, but Dabo's going to install in their minds, do not take this team lightly. You're going to see a blowout. You're going to see a massacre. Clemson's going to win pretty easily. So, Anthony, it's yours.
You were wondering when that Miami game was, MF? It's next week.
So I was right. Okay, because I knew it was either going to be next week or the week after, because I remember watching the Miami versus Florida State, and I remember they were talking about it. So good. I'm glad I was right on that one.
And according to my notes here, it's only fitting that Miami Clemson game next week is the ABC Saturday night game of the week next week.
Yes, it is. Isn't it in Miami? Or is it in Clemson? Oh, okay, it's in Clemson.
Yeah. Let me just get this quick thought out of my way, and then we'll go over next week's schedule. Oh, there's more. There's more to that than meets there's more when it comes to next week's schedule. You're excited about that. There's more. Wait till you hear what else is there. There's going to be next week. But first, Clemson had a week off to prepare for a rematch of last year's ACC championship game. Look for the Tigers to give Miami something to think about ahead of next week's top 10 showdown. Clemson is 8-2 against the spread in its past 10 conference games. Clemson rolls 49-14. Nothing more to say. That will put the ball on this edition of College Football Thursday. But next week, don't go yet, MF. Next week, oh my goodness, we got a lot of big games next week. Of course, Miami and Clemson, that's the big one. Of course, Notre Dame, they'll be back. They're going to be at home against Florida State. We all know the memories of that. We got more big games. Florida against Texas A&M, Tennessee against Georgia, Virginia Tech against North Carolina. And MF, I'm going to say, and I saved this one for last, a piece de resistance. You thought all that was big? Oh no, it gets bigger. I got 3 words for you. And I hope you get excited with me on this one. I don't want to be excited alone about this. Red River Rivalry. Let's go.
Man, this early.
Yup.
Texas and Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Cotton Bowl? Traditional?
Let me see.
I would expect it.
It's the big Fox game of the week. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, and the All-American girl Jenny Taft will be. Yes, it is the Cotton Bowl. It is confirmed.
All right, excellent. Because it wouldn't be a game if it wasn't in that stadium.
Yep. So even though Miami and Clemson, numbers-wise, ranking-wise, is the game of the week, I mean, listen to this lineup, Nemeth. Just to name a few of these games next week: Red River Rivalry, Miami and Clemson, Virginia Tech and North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Texas A&M, Pittsburgh against Boston College. I just noticed that. Oh, my goodness. And it may not have the luster of years ago, but Florida State and Notre Dame, prime time, under the lights at Notre Dame Stadium. What a week next week.
This is going to be fun. This will be fun. This is gonna be awesome, guys. Get ready.
Damn right. So that's it. So let's run down the gambit here. Tomorrow night, MF, you'll be hosting the Cerebral Smack Talk as always. We'll be running down Friday Night SmackDown. We'll also be previewing NXT TakeOver 31. Saturday, we have NFL Saturday. We're going to recap the Broncos and Jets game. Unfortunately, there will be one less game on the docket. Unfortunately, the news came out that we were scheduled to have what would have been our game of the week, unfortunately. I feel really bad about this because I had this as actually our game of the week because of the records. Battle of the Unbeatens, Pittsburgh Steelers, Tennessee Titans. But COVID, that's it. It's out. Unfortunately, because of COVID, that game's been it hasn't been canceled. It's just been postponed.
Postponed to week 7.
Oh, they announced that.
They just announced earlier today. My boy Shefty, Adam Schefter, reporting that it will be week 7 now between the Steelers and Tennessee will battle each other out. There is supposed to be some moving and shaking around of some other matchups. So be prepared. There might be more shifting of the schedule, but from what I've heard, I think either week 7 or week 8. But I heard week 7, tentative. The Steelers and Titans will go at it.
Yeah. It says likely will be moved to week 7. That's what it is. So as of now, it's looking like it is going to be week 7. So it's a damn shame we lost that game here because that would have been our game of the week.
Yeah, it would have been. Yep.
Battle of the Unbeatens. Perhaps a playoff preview. You don't know.
Yeah, so, very possible.
But unfortunately, that game's out. We have a new game of the week. And, of course, is the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big surprise there. So, because of how low. But there are some other, we got some other decent games to look forward to. My Buffalo Bills against the Las Vegas Raiders. That's an interesting game. How about the Indianapolis Colts against the Chicago Bears? That's an interesting game. And that's, those are the standout games on my end, but we'll get into all of that on Saturday. And then Sunday, we'll be recapping the NXT TakeOver 31 event. Monday, Ridiculously Raw. And then we run the gambit after that. So that'll do it for this. So until tomorrow night, for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Bracefan 95, it's Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher. And in spirit, Michael Bullock, Dee Woodson, and always and forever, Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, watching for style. All right, for now, my friends, God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching Week 5 of Strictly Sports, College Football Thursday, right here on Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Nick Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.